Is that winning team. So I may or may not have to. I'm about to tell you the story of this dream that I just had, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna explain my intro again because my phone just stopped recording for some reason. So I'm either gonna edit it together, or the long and short of it is, I prayed to the Lord that He would wake me up after an hour because I went to bed super late. I ended up waking up after an hour, and I end up waking up in the way that I know He usually wakes me up when I'm trying not to wake up. And that is, I have a horrifying dream, or rather He allows me to have a horrifying dream, of which I had two. The second one being about this church leader who I'd actually talked about trusting, who I thought was one of the good guys, behaving as like a predator, or being a predator. And it's what I saw and how he reacts is very demonic. So I want to break it down because I feel like there's a lot to learn from this. And so that's why I'm making this video. And honestly, maybe this intro is better than the last one where I spent 4 or 5 minutes explaining the backstory of the dream. But like the reason why I do explain those things I was saying is because I'm trying to show people how these things happen, how I get to my conclusions, and not just say them, because I feel like a lot of leaders, especially in the body of Christ, that's exactly what they do. They talk about things and they never seem to give the how, always just the what. And never the why, just the what, right? And also because if it wasn't for the fact that of this exact circumstances that it happened to be when I'd asked God specifically to let me have one of those 1 hour sleeps where I wake up feeling like I've slept the whole night, because it was already like 5 a.m, 6 a.m, and I needed to get up because I wanted to get up before work so that I could record my videos. The only way I can do this is by sacrificing my sleep. So I trust in God to like rejuvenate me, because I refuse. If I'm going to give anything up, it's going to be work. It's not going to be YouTube. I can assure you that much. It's not going to be my relationship with God. It's not going to be that. So it's like, look, God, you're going to have to step in unless you're prepared for me to just go ahead and quit all my jobs. But anyway, so it was that. And then also it was the man of God in particular, because he was somebody who I trust. So it's not like, and I was saying this as well. Yeah, I know that a lot of people, you know, they love to believe the worst about somebody when it's somebody they dislike. And so I know that I feel like a lot of times God shows me people I don't actually care about, or I'm not thinking about, or who I like. He'll show me the truth through them, because he knows that if I know I already dislike a person, then I'm obviously going to have, like, it's a human bias. You know what I mean? And most people don't realize they're aware of it. But as I've pointed it out so many times in society, how society always defends the heinous people that they like. But if somebody can significantly less who you don't like, and you'll put them on and stick them on the cross. Hello? Exactly what happened with Jesus. Let's talk about it. Anyway, so here's what happened in the dream. If you're new to this dreams and visions thing, sorry it's your first day at the office. We don't have time to catch you up. There's plenty of videos. I've uploaded over 2,500 videos, or 2,500 videos on YouTube, just about. So sorry we can't catch you up. Welcome to the fast lane. So here was what happens. I'm in like this building, and if you're wondering why I'm out, it's because I need to get some fresh air and sunshine. Like, I have to do certain things to get myself in the right headspace to record. Sunshine is because I'm feeling the ghetto after those dreams. My brain hurts, my head hurts. I feel like crying. I feel just dark and just ugh. So I need some sunlight. I need some fresh air. I need to just be out in the cold, because I'm already feeling like this is like the equivalent to what I feel like people who drink coffee in the morning feel like. This is like my morning coffee. Anyway, and also, yeah. Anyway, not important. So here's the dream anyway. 1 second. So I'm out here. By the way, if you're somebody who gets offended by my videos and I'm outside and moving around and stuff, no offense, but we don't need you here. I'm being efficient. I'm being time efficient. I could wait, not say all of this, waste another however long recording this, or while I already have something else to do, I could do something else at the same time. It's called being time efficient. You're going to get to hear what I have to say. Who cares? Anyway, so in this dream, there's this leader, right? And I know him from being an elder at a church I used to go to when I was younger. And you guys know I've been to so many churches, hence I have so many stories. Honestly, this is kind of why I can share them, because it'd be pretty hard to be able to pinpoint who I'm ever talking about. So in that aspect, I like that. Anyway, so this is how I know him, because in the dream it got very scary. I woke up like with the anxiety of the world in my chest and like my heart pounding. This is why I hate sleeping. I hate sleeping. It's just not restful. I just end up seeing people I don't want to see. And I'm just like, great, that was my rest. And now I've got to go back into the world that I hate. Awesome. They've actually cut even more trees down. Look at the state of this. I haven't walked past here in ages. Look at the state of this. This is preposterous. And then just you wait, it's going to be in 10 years. And now the council's putting in an extra 10 million to try and put air filters everywhere so we can increase the air quality. And look, there's a poor allotment there with all these plants and everything. And what are we doing here? We've got people making the effort to grow their own produce and whatnot there. Meanwhile, the freaking council's cutting down the God's filters. And what literally is filtering the carbon dioxide that us humans who ruin everything are pumping into the atmosphere. It's filtering that out into oxygen. Something we literally need to live. Like, I think it's our brains can't do it longer than 2 minutes of not having oxygen before we become brain dead. And there's no coming back, even if they can resuscitate your body. It's so important. Anyway, yeah. So this guy, I've known him since and I won't get into details, but let's just say he was one of the church people I really got along with. Which I'm now wondering, is this another episode of me missing things I should have seen? But then again, I was a kid, so, and that's going to kind of be the point of why I'm bringing this up as well. So I'm there, and yeah, he was really cool, and I saw him recently, and I was really glad when I saw him because, you know, he just gave me a bit of confidence, as if to say, like, he thinks from what he's heard. I haven't seen him in like years, like for like 7-8 years, and he was like, I was saying to him, I'm just trying to get my life together, and he was like, I think you've got your life together, which was really nice, and I really needed that boost, right? But now the dream is making me think, did I just have this trust that I existed since I was a kid, right? Because I'm talking to somebody who's older, who's not like the same old classic story of how grooming works, right? Because I've said I've been groomed before. You get told, oh, you're mature for your age. Oh, you're so whatever. When it's like, and yet I'm still a child, but it's just your way of excusing it. This is why I think the older generations are definitely guilty, by the way. With all the research I've been doing, the reason why they're so upset with us all doing all of our therapies and dealing with our mental health is because so many of them are guilty. Anyway, in the dream, long and short of it is, somebody accuses him in this huge building. It kind of looks kind of like a hotel merged with a school, merged with a church, and different places look different. Some are super creepy, some are a bit more just old school, some are modern, whatever. This is the dream world. And somebody accuses him of this somewhere in this huge building, and there's so many people there. So somebody accuses him of a kid, that he did something. And I was thinking, he would never, right? Like, he would never. This is what I'm thinking. But then I'm me, so I'm saying that whilst also acknowledging in my mind he absolutely could, which is, again, my critique of adults always is like, we have these people. I'm telling you guys stories of church folks, my experiences in places like churches and homes where families are, and feeling so unsafe. And I'm going to the freaking men's prison where apparently 80% of them have mental health issues. It's supposed to be the most dangerous place ever, and I guarantee you, I would have easily just taken a nap in that room with all of them there. Like, that was one of the safest places I've ever been to, because guess what? They have a whole separate area for predators, and predators get dealt with there. So, yeah, that's frowned upon there, in prison, amongst the rest of the folks, and then it'll be the world that'll be like, oh, convicted felons. Mate, at least now I know the skeletons in your closet, and odds are, not to mention the fact, so many people are coming out of the woodwork in all my research. I'm seeing so many people knowingly hired people that were on like the sexual offenders registers and stuff. We know about this whole Nickelodeon thing I mentioned. So it's like, this I think the world is stupid and backwards. Nevertheless, so I'm thinking, no way. But then I hear his voice, because basically what he decides to do in this dream, yeah, I've never seen anything like it, but maybe this is actually the type of thing that's happening, right? I hear in his voice, he starts to kind of just, instead of defend himself, because a lot of people, like when they get caught out for being inappropriate with kids, right, they'll defend themselves. I keep mentioning this series Gideon's doing, where he's catching out kids on predators, on, you know, spaces where there's young children, and he's getting like either like an actress that's like or an actor that's like young looking or whatever, to confuse the children. That's basically to confuse the adults, so that the adults go along with it, and the adults are like, oh, this is the child, and they all try and meet them. They all leave their families. They're like, I've got to wait till my wife goes to bed. It's hella creepy. I'm going to have to leave my kids by themselves. It's really creepy what's happening there. And again, Gideon, somebody that gets made fun of by society, but actually doing real God's work, because he's the one who brings all the evidence to the police, the evidence and the work that the police can't do. I also like to add, I was told myself by a detective constable who's worked on these types of cases in this country. This is what I'm saying, guys. I'm telling stories from I've heard from the horse's mouth. Not just some random scientific research from God knows who and God knows where. Anyway, this detective constable told me, he knows that sexual abuse cases are not going anywhere, so the first thing he does is just file for a restraining order, because he knows it's either going to take about 4 or 5 years, and it's unlikely that there's anything is going to happen. And he even moved off that department, if you can imagine, to firearms. Yeah. Which I was just like, it's just got to be an interesting job with the firearms in the UK. Anyway, so this so he's this guy, right? I hear his voice, and he's like saying, he starts talking about, oh, it was really creepy. Like, this was saying, it was just like, I've never heard anything like this in my life. And bearing in mind, my body is tense. I'm clenching my jaws. I'm sweating. I'm feeling this anxiety. He's coming around the corner, and now his eyes, they're like red. And he's walking slowly, and he's basically just decided that he's not going to try and pretend. He's not going to hide away. Like I was saying, the guys in the Gideon videos, they all start apologizing. Oh, I didn't know. I wasn't going to do anything. I knew they were 15, but like, you're allowed to have, like, and they all know the law so well. That's not, the law is stupid. Jeffrey Epstein was a teacher. Like, literally, the roles that you think should be the most trusted are the ones best to take advantage of kids, which is why we keep seeing that, and why the devil wants us to sweep those people under the carpet. But then look at the man with the van on the road. It's, oh, don't talk to strangers. It's like, okay, don't talk to strangers. Then you send your child to a school with a bunch of strangers. Don't talk to strangers, and then you want your child to greet every person in church. Have you even evaluated them? Exactly. It's dumb and stupid here. So he's basically decided, well, I guess I've been caught. He's not quaking away. He's not apologizing. He just decides to double down. So he starts walking around this building and deciding, and he's telling stories of everything he's done with each of these children, right? It was traumatizing, you guys. It was this is what I'm saying. I always be having nightmares. Like, when people are like, oh, I couldn't survive without 12 hours of sleep a night. I'm like, mate, I couldn't survive with my 1 hour of sleep. As in, I couldn't survive the sleep. That's exactly what happened. This is the reason I'm up right now. Otherwise, I'd still be asleep right now. But instead, I'm trying to like get my thoughts together and like help my brain to like help my nervous system regain fresh air and sunlight and stuff. But anyway, so yeah, so you can just hear his voice talking, and he's like, and then I did this and I did that, and then I did, and he's like saying it like with pride and like sounding so demonic. So at this point, he's now going to all the rooms where the kids is, because he's just about to go and offend them again. However, I just want to say I didn't see no offending of any children in this dream, obviously, praise the Lord. But it's just he was narrating what he was thinking and also how he was feeling, and it was just really weird. I was feeling about these girls, these young boys and girls, and he was just narrating it. And I was like, this is disgusting. And so I started panicking in the dream, and I'm like, we need to get these kids to safety, and I need to inform everybody about this man. This is like classic me, and everything that's about to happen next is classic what happens to me in the real world, in the normal world, in the whatever world we call this, when I try to stand up for justice, right? So in my head, me being the classic dumbass, I always am, I think, I'm going to go and tell everybody what's going wrong, and we're going to do something about it, and we're going to protect the kids. When does that ever happen? I hate it here. So I start to go around. So like on the one hand, I'm trying to whisper to the adults, because this has now become like one of these games where you're being chased by a monster, but it's not like a game. I'm just saying that's the kind of vibe of, he's trying to find me, I'm trying to hide from him because he's out to get me, right? Because I'm the one who's blowing the seal, right? And this is why this probably was really happening to me in my life on a spiritual level anyway, right? And he's like trying to like creep up around me, like, and find me to like take me out. Meanwhile, I'm trying to inform all the adults on the sly, and I'm also trying to get all the kids to safety. So I'm either trying to like get them to be like in this cupboard, don't say anything, stay silent. My goal is to get everybody to get down into the cafeteria, which I'm now getting to them to lock it off, so that we could just lock, because that room has enough space for everybody, so that everybody can just be like shut in, and that room can just be like shut, and we can just run in there and like lock the door and at least take control of the situation. And the adults, like, this is what I'm thinking, and I'm consciously thinking this in my dream, because I'm saying my dreams are tiring. They're so tiring. Like in my dream, I'm really here thinking. That's why I still have a headache till now. And I came out to get fresh air and to go and grab a couple of groceries so I can make myself something reasonable to eat. Well, since I'm going to have to be making all these videos, so you will see me in a second go into the store. And so I'm here trying to like strategize what we're going to do by myself, as per freaking usual. I'm trying to strategize what we're going to do. I'm trying to inform the adults, but then it's hard to inform the adults because I'm trying to inform them quietly so that he can't hear where we are. But also it's taking forever, because they're taking forever to listen to what I'm saying and to believe what I'm telling them, right? They're taking forever. And I'm thinking, I heard from this man's mouth, like, and this is again the story of my life, that no one really ever just believes me. And it's just always, there's no way that happened, there's no way. And I'm like, we don't have time for there's no way. Because the thing is, mind you, he's not looking. The only people he's looking for is me to take me out, for stopping me from what I'm doing, and the kids, because he's like, oh, I'm just going to do it in your face now. This is what he's doing. He's like, I'm just going to do it in your face now, because anyways, now you all know my time is out. That's why he's cockily walking around going, and then I saw him, he was just a little boy. And it was just creepy. And I feel like it was one of those where I heard enough of what he was saying to understand what he was saying was heinous, but I didn't really hear anything incredibly heinous. Almost like it's almost like God muffled it kind of on purpose so that I wouldn't be too traumatized, because that would have really traumatized me. So anyway, so that's what happened there. So then the next thing you know, I'm now, can you imagine if I saw this guy I'm talking about? What in the hell? And oh, I forgot an important detail. See, what is this on my face? Okay, sorry guys. My skin is so bad at the moment because I've just not been looking after it, because I just haven't had the energy to look after myself. I've been saying that. I've been doing the bare minimum. I just like wash it and like whatever. I'm not like, committed to the cause. I just don't have the energy. Alright guys, so I decided to not record while I was still in the store because it was crowded. This is why people are not supposed to be out in these hours. Literally, my headache is back. Like, just from watching people and how irritating and just dumb and dense people are. And it's just like, my headache is back. But anyways, this is why we go on long walks. We walk somewhere far to then walk back from somewhere far, just in case. Anyway, important detail I forgot to add, which I'm going to add now about this individual, right, is the church I know them from the reason I don't go to said church, or rather, it's not that I would go. It's not that I don't go, it's more that I wouldn't go. The reason I wouldn't go to this church is because they had a scandal where another one of the leaders, but not the leader himself, his child, his son, had been accused by a couple of the girls, or rather they didn't accuse him. It actually, the way it all came out was actually quite tragic. They just happened to open up to some other guys they trusted about the situation, and then a lot of bad things happened. The hood got involved and found out, and they dealt with him how they do. Going back to my prison example before, it was a whole mess. And the church was very much in favor of, let's sweep everything under the carpet. Like when that whole situation went down, that was for sure the last day I was ever considering like going there. Because I was just like, you just want to keep the peace and whatever. You've literally lost members because of like whole families because of this situation. And you care more about shutting up people who are trying to speak up, because one of the people got shut down. They were trying to speak up on behalf of these girls. Another man. This is why I think the world is horrible, because it's like all the men who are actually good men out there, right, will end up like dead or in prison or whatever, taken advantage of for trying to do the right thing, right? And it's all these flipping predators who just get to live their filthy lives comfortably. And I hate it. And I hate it here. But anyway, so the church itself, now I'm thinking as a result of this dream, did I miss something? Did I do the thing that I accused the adults of, where I assume that the people that had the dodgy situation with these girls, it was just them and it was probably isolated? Or is it that I'm forgetting, like, am I forgetting what I believe now, which I've always believed, that, listen, for this stuff to go down, there has to be people who know about it who are turning a blind eye? Because why is it that the kids just always seem to be unsupervised, and why does it always just seem to be just this one person who has this history of behavior and these numbers of victims, but we're always like, oh, this is just a rarity and this just doesn't really happen very often, you know? Why is that always the story arc that we're living with? I would like to know. So anyway, in this dream anyways, I see my little brother there, and I'm trying to get him to safety because I can't take him with me, my youngest brother. And every time he appears in my dreams, he's always a baby. And I honestly believe that's because that's when I like, I don't know, whatever was supposed to break inside of you when you like have a child is what happened then. Because I remember even then, that's when I stopped just sleeping hard. And so I think he's like my reference point in my dreams of like children that I've had to think about their protection, if you know what I mean. So he's always a baby in my, like a toddler in my dreams, always. Even though he's literally just turned 16 now. So I send him off with another kid who I trust, and I'm like, look, you guys go here, because I need to go and tell the adults. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm trying to organize this operation. And so then I start to get people in. I manage to get to the cafeteria. I inform somebody else that I trust. There's some weird stuff going on behind me in one of these rooms with all these big wig, like kind of like rich people. They're all drinking these expensive beverages and kind of all enjoying their time, which honestly didn't think into that too much until right now. And I really probably should have, because I feel like there's something there, like while this is happening, everybody else is oblivious. They're enjoying themselves. They're probably aware. They're probably working together, because I won't tell you guys what I'm thinking about the church in regards to all this Epstein Diddy stuff, but I just feel like anyway, I won't say it now because it's a premature theory. Arguably all my theories are premature because I'm never going to have the amount of knowledge that God has. So anyways, these I managed to do that, and people start to come down, like people start to actually listen, and I'm telling everybody, like, everybody get into the cafeteria, like everybody get in there, everybody stay in here, Like, and I'm like running around, and like when I tell you in my dream, my heart was pounding. I was so stressed. Like, there was no time to cry. There's no time to panic. Like, in these moments, you have to get to it because we need to make a plan, and somebody needs to be like focused on the task. That's why I can't stand people who, when things go wrong, they just panic and they just stand there and panic. And that's why a lot of people would make poor scientists, because like, as a scientist, if something just starts to blow up in front of you, or there's a flame or whatever, a lot of times you can just quickly do something quite small to rectify the situation. But if you're standing there going, oh my gosh, no. So I can't stand people like that, because I don't do that. I will go silent and I will just immediately start doing stuff. So I'm doing whatever I'm doing. Oh, my fingers are actually getting genuinely cold. I'm quite impressed. And it took us till January to get to the freaking winter, and I'm still wearing shorts as well. Lol. My legs are not cold at all. Not at all. People always say, you're not cold. I'm like, no, I'm not cold. I'm not cold. I'm very much at my favorite temperature, which is fingers frostbitten, legs out in the cold. In fact, I'm actually sweating in my top half, and I'm only wearing a vest and this hoodie with this hood on top of my head. People are looking at me strangely. When isn't that happening? Yeah, you see, this part of town, this is where I don't need to be. There's too many black people around here. Unfortunately, a lot of my ops are within my own community. That's the problem. Anyway, so what was I even saying? So I'm trying to get everybody in there, and then at the end of the dream, how it ends up ending, and he's still walking around because I can like hear him. Because at one point, I go to like run down this staircase. I'm telling these kids, like, I'm trying to direct them, like, I'm like, go this way, go, because like I can hear him coming, but he's like a big man, right? So he's walking kind of slowly. It's kind of like hearing the sound of like the giants walking, like, you know, like Jack and the Beanstalk. It's like a fee fi fo fum moment, right? He's like walking kind of slowly because he's so big, and he's like struggling. He can't go very fast. So that's what I'm trying to use. I'm trying to use my speed and my ability to move my body, which you guys know is one of the main reasons I like to stay in reasonable shape, because you never know when you're going to need to escape, you're going to need to sprint, you're going to need to climb. Like, you never know. So I'm running around and I'm telling the kids, like, go in here, like, go this way, I'll go down this way. Like, so, you know, and I'm going down this creepy staircase and I can hear him coming and whatnot. And anyways, it's working. My plan is kind of working. The adults are still being annoying because they're like, I'm like, we're in the middle of a crisis. We don't have time for me to have to spend 20 minutes explaining to you. Like, this is how I feel about the adults right now. It's like, listen, the world is, look at the state of the world. We don't have time to be spending 40 years wondering if the Bible was written by so-and-so and if Jesus really did. Like, bro, get to know God and get to know him quickly. And once you got on that flipping bus, right, we need to move at 1,000,000 miles an hour because the devil is moving at 1 billion miles per hour, right? Anyway, my fingers are actually cold, bro. So anyways, it all ends anyways. The whole dream ends because I finally gotten everybody to start coming downstairs, but then I'm worrying because I haven't found my little brother, right? And so that's the bit that starts to make me really panic. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to go and get him myself, because like, I don't know what's gonna happen in the rest of the building. I've left him with another kid. Well, although the kid is older, like he's like an older teenager, and I do think he's the type, you know, because he's another kid that I know. He is the type that would have been able to successfully kept the mission, kept them quiet, and kept them safe, you know what I mean? But I was just like, I can't live without actually going to collect my brother myself. So I then leave as everybody's piling into that room because I can't risk it. And then I'm just running, hearing the sound of this man's voice. And then I woke up in a state of anxiety, panic. I'm heavy breathing, my head is hurting. And I know that it's not been very long because I fell asleep watching this YouTube video that was an hour, and I was already 20 minutes in, and there was still like another 20 minutes. So this is what I'm saying about sleep. And at this point, I'm just like, God, why? And then I sat there and I started to think, and I realized, you know what? Maybe the Lord is trying to show me something, like, especially because it's somebody who I still trusted to this day. A couple of days ago, I made a video and I actually referenced this guy. I never uploaded the video. It was my New Year's video. And I was talking about, you know, like what I said before. And it was the comfortability of what he was doing and walking around and just like not feeling like he had to hide anything. Because I've been asking God, I'm like, I don't want to like know by like seeing it, if that makes sense, but I'd like to know in knowledge terms, what is it these people actually do behind the scenes? Like, because I feel like this is how they behave. I feel like they walk, because you see that even with Diddy, he's always just like touch it, and I'm used to it. Like I said, people don't respect my boundaries in any way. That's why I don't like to be around people, because I have to put so much effort, like more effort than I put into writing my science, my research project paper, right? About more small organic molecules in outer space. I have to put more energy in like one interaction with a human than I spent in that entire year on that paper just to hold up these boundaries. Like, I spend more energy than I spend in my whole entire day at my job, by doing my job, working with kids. This is how much tough it is, because people, when they perceive you to be easy to manipulate, young, because this is what I was noticing in the dream, that the kids were getting caught up, just like how I potentially got caught up, because you're just young and trusting. You know, you're just young and trusting. I had this kid a couple of days ago, you know, who was newly added to my lessons, and we were doing a little get to know you, right? Because I always get to know them. And immediately, she's 10. Immediately, she's like, don't tell anyone, like, don't tell anyone. And she starts telling me secrets. And I was like, first of all, you're putting me in a tough spot here, because if I need to tell your parents, I need to tell them, because our parents actually trust as well. Second of all, this is the kind of dumb crap I've been doing throughout my life, because this is all you do when you're like in the childlike, immature state, is you just don't know, you don't necessarily, I mean, kids do in general, I will say, take the time to like, can often spot somebody. Like, again, my youngest brother, one of the things I used to love about growing up with him, right, is whereas in all the situations where adults everybody would just be kissing each other's butts, and there'd be people in the room that I would have off feelings about, he would never let them hold him. Like, he would, like, as a baby, he would protest. He would never let them hold him. He would protest everything. And I loved it. And the adults would feel so awkward, like, oh, we're so sorry. But again, I'm like, why are we sorry? If he's not comfortable, let the kid be. You know what I mean? Let the kid be. You know, so, you know, kids can be very trusting very quickly, because this is what I was thinking. Especially if you say the right statements, especially if they're in, like, all these kids, in a lot of these situations. This is why us protecting broken homes and dysfunctional families doesn't help. Because a lot of the times, these are who these predators use, because they make the kids feel seen like they never felt seen before, or cared about, or accepted, or understood, or valuable, or whatever. Heard. So, yeah, anyway, I'm going to leave that there for now, because there's so much to unpack. There's so many imageries, but I really believe that God is trying to just kind of show me, like, what it actually looks like when these people just feel comfortable to just do it in your face. Because I always say that I don't think you should ever confront somebody, especially if you're a woman. You should never confront any type of man on stuff like this to his face. And it's the dumbest thing ever. You're putting yourself in danger. You smile and you find yourself a way to escape. And then you tread carefully, because this is one of the main reasons I don't like going to the police. I've said it before. Because what? Okay, so I come in now, you arrest somebody. They know they're being arrested because of me. They have to be let out, or they can get bailed out depending on what happens. Now they're just roaming free on earth while I'm roaming free on earth, while you're doing a 4-year investigation. Why the hell would I put myself in that amount of danger? I'm putting myself in more danger. The hell? And you're thinking I should hope and kumbaya and cross my fingers and hope everything is fine, and that in 4 years' time, at least they'll be put away, when that's probably not going to happen anyways. I'm going to leave that there, guys, because I've got to be filming when I get back anyway, and I'm nearly back, so I'll spend some time just catching up with the Lord, and then I'll see you guys for the videos of today, which are probably going to be good, because I usually have nights like this when I'm about to like actually cook in my YouTube videos. Anyways, you guys, the life's a game was played to win. I'm surprised that my phone hasn't frozen itself and died. But yeah, that was the dream. Just so much to unpack there and just so much to learn. And so I'll probably reference it again in some of my upcoming videos. Anyways, you guys, the life's a game was played to win. Stay tuned for my All Religion is Evil series, which I'm still doing. We're like, nearly 30 videos in. Nuts. This year, we're starting as we mean to go on. Anyways, guys, God bless you. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.